Hello and welcome to episode 34 of the Championship Rounds podcast. This weekend, one of the best cards in recent memory. Artur Beterbiev rematching Dmitry Bivol, Daniel Dubois against Joseph Parker. So many good fights in this card. A couple of dud fights, but it is what it is. But we'll start at the top. After Beterbiev against Dmitry Bivol 2 for the undisputed light heavyweight title, a fantastic fight first time, and I'm I don't know how the second fight's going to go down.
Yeah, because I think it's even harder to predict than the first time around. More questions. There's more questions after the first fight than there is before they even fought, and I don't even know how that works.
Like double the questions.
Like, look, one of them's gonna win. Who? I don't know.
Could be a draw.
Could have been a draw. The first fight could have been a draw.
Yeah, could have been easy for the draw. One
The first fight probably should have had a draw, so there wasn't this much controversy over the scorecard, like the scoring of the fight. But I don't. This time around, I'm not sure that there's going to be need for judges, to be honest.
I tend to agree. How did you have the first fight, you two?
I had it 7-5 Beterbiev.
Oh yeah, we all did, didn't we? I don't remember now. We all had it back. I watched it back and I had it a draw, and then I watched it back again and I had the Beterbiev winning 7-5.
We watched it yesterday.
The day before yesterday.
Day before yesterday. And I didn't score it, but I ran my scorecard and I did flip around, so I had it even. I flipped round 4. Also, there was a draw scorecard, wasn't there? It's majority decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I originally gave Beterbiev a round 4, but now I flipped it to Dmitry Bivol.
The cards in the first fight were 114, 114, and then 115, 113, and 116, 112. 116, 112 was a little wide, but yeah, it's one of those fights anywhere in that sort of 7-5 each way range or a draw is good.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 8-4 seems wide, but then I guess it's only one round more than 7-5, and there were so many close rounds. But it does seem wide, even though I guess it's feasible.
Yeah, it was close. It was close. I think Beterbiev won more clear rounds, if that makes sense. Like,
I mean,
it's
I think
it's such a weird fight.
Yeah, I think they both had some clear rounds. I mean, like the early rounds were clear to Bivol.
Yeah.
I guess round 7 was clear to Beterbiev because he beat him. I think round 11 was clear to Beterbiev. I think round 12 clear.
Yeah, I think round 10 was clear as well.
I think 10 was the closer one of the last 3 fights. I think Beterbiev won it.
Yeah.
It
was such a good fight. It was such a good fight, man.
Yeah, because I mean, it was kind of a fight of 2 halves. I mean, you could say 4-2 either way, but it wasn't. Because Bivol came back and won a couple of rounds after being hurt, or a round or so, and was really competitive in most rounds.
I think it was it was a fight of not 2 halves, but the first 3 and the last 3. It was a fight of the middle half of the fight, sort of thing, sort of rounds 4 to 9. That was where the fight was decided. If that makes any sense, first 3 Bivol, last 3 Beterbiev. It's those middle 6 that.
Yeah, one of them took way more damage than the other one in those middle rounds.
Yeah. That's one thing I think is a factor in this rematch, you know. I think it's a little bit too soon for Bivol.
It's not a long turnaround. The fight was only 4 months ago.
Yeah. And Bivol took a lot in that fight. He took a lot. Like, and it's Beterbiev. Like, he was marked up pretty heavy. I know that's not how you score. I know not all of them are clean. I know, like, a lot of it was impact through his own guard. Like, Beterbiev would land on the guard and it would ricochet into Bivol's face and took a lot on the arms and that. But, like, that's still physically demanding. And, like, that's one worry I have for Bivol in this fight. Like, has he fully recovered from 12 rounds with Beterbiev? Because, like, I don't know. I don't know if he has. That's one concern I have. Like, there was a John Scully thing, and he saw at the press conference that, like, weeks ago, that Bivol's face was still, like, slightly puffed up, and he's like, "Yeah, we've got him this time. We're going to stop him." And it's like, I don't know, but that's on my mind a little bit.
I mean, I bet his face always kind of looks a bit like that. But
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
This time it was like a lumpy though. It was like knots all over his head. But yeah, he marks up pretty easily.
yeah.
But I don't. It's not gonna change in this fight. He's not gonna be able to change his style enough to not take as much damage. If anything, he's gonna take the same amount of damage, or he's gonna take more, because he's either gonna have to move way more and not engage as much, or he's gonna have to engage more and take more.
That's the thing with Bivol. Like, his defense is a lot of guard work. It's not necessarily loads of head movement. And, like, when you're taking punches on the gloves from someone that punches as hard as Beterbiev, like, they're gonna have an impact. Like, if you look at his guard, it's like a lot of his shots that he blocks, he doesn't necessarily slip loads and loads. A lot of them are quite well blocked. But man, like, that's gonna have an impact. And yeah, like you said, like, I think he's gonna have to fight at a higher pace. And I think that's gonna lead to that 10th, 11th, and 12th maybe coming in the 8th or 9th. Such a good fight, man.
see, look, he can't move. He can't move as much as he did. He has to stand his ground more.
That can't go well for him down the stretch.
No, I think he can, but this all just depends on Beterbiev, because when people punch against Beterbiev, especially volume punching, like, he doesn't really punch when someone's punching, and he is kind of a guy who, like, he's a bully, and bullies don't like getting bullied. And I mean, I think we saw it early, but I mean, he couldn't sustain the pace.
He kind of just waits till you're done punching.
Yeah, it was just kind of like a. I was talking to Eson about it, and he was like, it's like a I go, you go type fight. And I mean, it was.
It'll probably be the
I think,
same. Really.
yeah. One
Because
thing
I
about
mean,
the first,
How Beterbiev is, then he's going to let Bivol try to, like, get confident and land it, like, throw his combinations he usually does. But maybe he'll decide to actually counter punch and not just sit there and just wait for Bivol to let his hands go and then get out the way.
see, the problem I have with Beterbiev's performance is, like, I'm not saying he didn't take the fight seriously. I don't think he respected Bivol enough. I think he just felt like he could just let Bivol do whatever he wants, then, like, get work in and go in, and he's just gonna go like everyone else did. I mean, I didn't really see much of a game plan from Beterbiev.
You know, he cut the ring off pretty bad.
Like, I mean, yeah, I mean, it wasn't great from him with the cutting the ring off, but I guess I put that down to his knee. It was kind of pretty short-ish, I guess, for a knee. Like, if he does it again this time, then there's a problem. But there was, like, no game plan. I didn't see a game plan. What was his game plan? Did anyone see a game plan?
Not really. It just come forward, wait for him to stop punching, punch when he's done punching, and that was really it.
And I mean, he needs to. like, right, well, forgot the word I'm looking for. I'll come back to that when I remember it. Like with like Vosdik, I mean, he had a game plan. His game plan was he broke him down with body shots earlier. It took him till Bivol slowed down to start throwing body shots. There was no body shot
He was
attempts.
headhunting a lot in the whole fight, let alone just the first half.
Yeah, and he started so slow as well. I mean, yeah, obviously, he's not going to win the early rounds against Bivol, but at least like do something to.
I was like, at least start. Like no one's expecting you to chuck combinations of body shots at him from round one, but like start going down there gradually. Not
Yeah,
just
and
think you can just get him to the ropes and just do whatever you want. You can't do that. Bivol's too athletic and fast and smart to let him just plod you down like that.
yeah. Anyway, remember the word. He needs to commit to his work. Like Bivol was committing to his work. You see how much he was sitting down his punches, these punches he was landing, and Beterbiev was just kind of like. I mean, he does tap a lot, but like his best success, I mean, he was like really committing with the jab. Look how much he was committing with the jab against Callum Smith. I know it's Callum Smith and it's not Dmitry Bivol, but I mean, his jab looked great in that fight.
We'll get on Callum Smith.
And he was just kind of like not committing to it enough. He was just kind of like putting it out there. Of course, he was like afraid of the counters. He was getting hit clean with counters.
Those counter right hands are insane.
Yeah, like the eye-catching shots, the shots that stick out to you, they were all landed by Dmitry Bivol.
Yeah,
Like Beterbiev's so physically imposing,
and it's the volume thing as well.
If he didn't punch as hard as he does, and is so physically imposing, he probably would have clearly lost the fight.
Yeah,
because look, what won him the fight was his aggression and like the look of the fight. I feel like the way he was just like chasing Bivol, who's just on the run, and Bivol, he started moving a lot earlier than I thought he did. He was like moving in like round 4. I thought he didn't start until like round 7. You just can't do that. I think not gonna work.
What like I mentioned this in the first fight, and I think Bivol it sort of came through a little bit. Bivol had this thing where he'd fight really quickly and really aggressively and try and win the round in the first half, and then it would sort of tail off a little bit, and he'd sort of not shell up, but he'd sort of get on his bike a little bit and sort of try and see out the round, thinking he'd won it. And I don't think you can do that.
Yeah,
and that's where a lot of the rounds were won for Beterbiev. Like in the second half, in the last minute, Beterbiev was putting it on it.
Round management from Beterbiev, I guess, was good. Because he would just let Bivol work and try and steal the round.
Yeah, and I think that's going to come into play in this fight as well. Like, does Bivol have the engine to work for a full 3 minutes of every round against Beterbiev? I don't know.
So he doesn't do that with most of his opponents.
Yeah, I saw it. I've seen it his whole career. Like, he works really well for about 2 minutes a round, 1 minute 30 of a round, and that's why I think he doesn't really get stoppages that much, because like he's not working the full 3 minutes, and if he was, he'd be stopping guys.
See,
and
maybe his problem is like the way he goes about rounds, where he starts well, but then finishes slower, rather than just doing whatever for the first half a minute, then actually get going.
Yeah.
If he does that this fight, then he has like a real chance to like clearly like win rounds without having to do a whole lot.
Yeah, because I mean, it's much
even throughout the entire round instead of like being just good in the first half of it.
Yeah, it's much easier to like maintain your stamina when you're the person who finishes well in the round, rather than because like he's had to work, like he's working for the first half, and then he's being made to defend and work probably even harder for the last half of the round. or the last minute of the round.
And then getting
being made
beat
to
on with like thudding punches for that second
Yeah.
half.
And even if he is blocking them, like I said earlier, he's
They're still-
taking shots on the arms and gloves, and they're gonna hurt. They're gonna drain you, and they're ricocheting into you.
There's still Artur Beterbiev punches, regardless
Yeah.
if they win or not.
Yeah,
and
like
look, those
And-
punches that don't land. I mean, in real time, judges might see a lot of them land and give them the
like
round.
we've all been at fights. Like you're sat on one side of the ring, and like you can't see it clearly, and like you're seeing Bivol shell up and sort of run, and Beterbiev's throwing loads of punches. Even if they're not landing and they're all on the gloves, like you're gonna think, well, Beterbiev's on him there. Especially the sound of Beterbiev's punches, like Jesus, like that's the issue. You can't afford to shell up the last or not. I hate using that word shell up in this case because he didn't. He was blocking punches and he was moving and he was still throwing back a bit, but you can't afford to be that sort of negative on the back foot in the last minute against Beterbiev.
Yes, I mean the thing is that people who've never been to a fight don't understand how different a fight looks
It's so different.
in the
Like,
arena compared to watching on TV. It's so different. Like sometimes you can watch a fight, then watch it back on TV, and it just looks like a completely different
Yeah,
fight.
like seeing like the difference of when I seen Estrada Chocolatito 3 in the arena, and then when I watched it the next day, I was like, "What? I must have not watched that. That's not the fight I watched at all."
Yeah.
It just feels different, and it just is different.
And the sounds as well, like I, I guess you shouldn't do, but you're naturally gonna like score based off sounds in some points. Like you can, especially if you're right up close, you can hear like heavy breathing and like the punches crack and like everything. You like there's so much stuff that you can't pick up on a TV screen. Like
Crowd as well.
yeah, well, that's not an issue in Saudi because no one goes. But yeah, that's a separate issue. But,
Well, they do, but they're paid to go.
Yeah. Uh,
Nasty.
but yeah, I don't know.
He needs like ways to just stop the momentum. Like he has to counter or I don't know, clinch, I guess. But I mean, it worked. But I mean, he did it a few times, and it worked because I mean, he did it like smart as well. Like when he was clinching, he pulled Beterbiev's head down every single time, and it made him reset, and it just stopped his momentum for a bit. I mean, not a lot, but it worked for that small period of time. The problem is when you don't do that in your fights, the referee is more likely to pick up on it and give you warnings, like rather than say like a Haney who always clinches. So referee's not going to say anything.
It's just regular for him, but both of them, there's not many clinches in their fights.
Yeah, because like say someone like holds the back of their head and punches. I say like a Lennox Lewis. I mean, he always did it with the uppercuts. That's why he never got warnings for it. But if someone who doesn't do it does it, they will get warnings for it. It's
One point that was made a few minutes ago. It's just popped into my head. Like we're saying, Beterbiev doesn't counter or punch between shots. The one time he really had Bivol hurt was when he countered him in the seventh round.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's that, and on Bivol's side, he needs to not do something that's stupid because that was I feel like that punch was like kind of the turning point of the fight. Like he was like so excited to have finally got through to him that he just was so uncharacteristic and just flung a bunch of punches and immediately got hurt. He can't do that.
Did the same thing against Zinad as well and got caught. He didn't get hurt. But
he cannot do that again.
Yeah. Like
imagine how that fight goes if he doesn't go in for the kill and get hurt himself.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he was winning that round as well. He had the momentum at that point.
Yeah. How many rounds did he win after round 7? Like 2?
Yeah, a couple rounds.
1, 2. Like that punch just set the whole. That one mistake just like messed his whole flow up.
Yeah, because I mean, once you get hurt from a Beterbiev, I mean, you're just gonna be like, well, damn, I'm not doing that again. So I'll just shell up and move, try
No,
not to get hurt again.
he never did that again. So
It was a mixture of that and having never fought 12 rounds at that pace before. Like, he's fought 12 rounds loads, but he's never been forced to fight at that
in the
pace.
same gear, like forever.
Yeah.
Because
Everyone's just trying to box with him, and that's why he wins so convincingly because they're trying to box with him, not fight.
like
I
he
make this point a
throws.
lot. Oh, go on.
No, he throws lots of punches in his fights, but obviously he's the one dictating that pace. Like they're fighting his fight, and he's been look, it's so easy. Like people are fighting their fight, their pace. They can do it for 20 rounds, 30 rounds, 40 rounds, so easy. But when someone like forces you to fight, like you're just drained of all energy.
I say it a lot. Although, like, Bivol has had, like, he's fought good guys. Like, when I say it with prospects, like, they fight at their pace their whole career, and then when somebody takes them out of that zone, a lot of them sort of fall away a bit. And I think there's a little bit of Bivol there, like, he'd had his whole career fighting at that pace, and this is the problem with people that coast. He was happy to coast, and he wasn't stepping it up, and he wasn't. Then you get to a point where you need it, and you firstly don't know if it's there, and secondly, if you had it before, you like it might not be there now. You don't know because you've never had to do it. That's why I think it's so crucial for a lot of these guys, not even early on in their career, but early in their championship career, to go through the gears. Like, people just don't. Like, you need to be able to go through the gears and know that you can, because there's gonna be someone like Artur Beterbiev coming along who's gonna push you, and like
Yeah.
he'd never been pushed like that before, man. Because he was happy to just like tippy tap to points for like 6 years.
Yeah, and the worrying thing is like he slowed down, and there wasn't really much of a body attack from Beterbiev either.
Yeah,
Imagine if he actually starts
Like,
with body shot.
yeah, like he's slowing down like at least 2-3 rounds earlier than he did with body attack. That's not to say he can't get a second win, but he's going to slow down with those
Like
body attacks.
everyone who's tried to match pace with Beterbiev has either been hurt, dropped, or stopped. So it's just like, because it's just everyone's trying to do too much against him, and that's why Bivol got hurt the way he did, and why he had to change his whole thing up. He like in my prediction, that's what's gonna happen again. He's gonna do too much, trying to uh, nullify the aggression of Beterbiev, and he's gonna get hurt for it.
that was sort of my thinking as well. Like, so he's lost the first fight boxing like that, and he slowed down the last three. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if he's gonna need to do more to win this fight, or at least in his head, he's gonna have to do more. Like,
Which means he's
regardless
gonna
of
have
what you
to
won or lost.
which means he's not gonna have he can't move as much. He's gonna have to
Yeah,
throw
later on.
even more punches than he usually does, and he's gonna be a step closer to Artur Beterbiev punches. So
Yeah, and that means he's gonna slow down 2 or 3 rounds earlier. And then if you include a body attack and that, this is the thing. Like, I don't know. I think it's quite obvious that I'm pretty strong on picking Beterbiev in this fight. Like, because of that. Like, I just think it's a mixture of a few things. Like, Bivol's gonna have to set a really high pace, and I don't think he can sustain it.
I feel like the gap of improvement for Bivol is way bigger than the gap of improvement Beterbiev has to. Like, obviously, he won the first fight, so
Yeah,
you would think he doesn't have to do too much different, but he's not going to be unless he's turned 65 years old overnight, then he's going to fight the exact
Yeah.
same way he usually does. But even he's going to probably throw more body shots, cut the ring off better than the first time. And like he didn't take thunderous punches like he gave to Bivol. So he's probably going to be fresher regardless of his age. And Bivol would have to be uncharacteristic. I feel like he has to be uncharacteristic to win the fight,
Yeah. I
which I
think
think will in turn get him stopped.
the yeah. What am I trying to say? Jesus Christ. Anyway, a lot was made of the knee in the first fight, Beterbiev's knee. Um, and
You
like
could tell if something was wrong, but
yeah, but he's done 4 rounds, a full 12 rounds, and then he's come back and he's had like what 2-3 months training, and he hasn't pulled out. Which let's be
yeah,
honest with Beterbiev, if there's an issue, he will pull out.
I was like,
He is one of these
I
guys
was
that will
waiting
not
for the
fight if he's injured.
mandatory. I was waiting for the mandatory injury
Yeah,
announcement.
so like this is the thing. He will pull out of fights if he's injured. Like so that gives me the confidence in saying that his knee is in really really good shape right now. Like, and if his knee's better, and if he's got the mental thing in his head, like I had a compromised knee the first time. He's had 4 more months of healing, and I've done 12 rounds and already beaten him. He's gonna have a lot more confidence.
You got to fight a lot smarter and harder, probably, and that's not
Yeah,
really enticing for Bivol's sake. But yeah, I just I just think Beterbiev's going to be better, and I think he's going to stop. I think he's going to stop Bivol.
so do I. I think I think it's a combination of Beterbiev having more confidence, Bivol knowing he has to do more, and Bivol coming back way too soon. Like if this fight is in 2 months' time, if it's in April or May, I think it's a different fight. But I think like coming off 12 rounds with Beterbiev, where you're taking a lot of shots, like Beter, I'll get the CompuBox stats up, but Beterbiev threw so many punches, and like like I said earlier, a lot of Bivol's style was taking it on the gloves. Like he took they weren't necessarily say scoring shots, but Beterbiev threw 682 punches.
It's crazy.
Like you're thinking at least 400 of those are connecting with some piece of Bivol's body. Like a lot landed on gloves and arms and stuff. Like Jesus, how like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like man, I don't know. Beterbiev stoppage, and I think it might come like 7 or 8.
I'd say like 10.
I've yeah.
Look, going back to the earlier point about Bivol needing to do more to win, like, yes, but I think he needs to do less in the earlier rounds.
He has to like wrap it up in the 3 minutes and over the fight.
Because, like, I mean, he won those clearly, and he was like doing a lot in those rounds. He was really sitting down on his shots. I get it. I mean, he was trying to hurt Beterbiev. I mean, when he finally punched him, put a dent in him early, but I mean, just he didn't need to do that much to win those rounds, and that's taking something out of him as well.
He could have probably done half as much as he did in those first like 3 rounds and still won them.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, what we've seen, Bivol can hurt Beterbiev. I think Bivol can hurt Beterbiev. I've always thought his power's been underrated. He just the way he fights. Like, he has become complacent, but when he sits on his punches, he can punch. Hence why he was like known as a puncher. back, when he was like stopping Sullivan Barrera.
Broadhurst the
Broadhurst.
ice badly.
Yeah, I mean, look, he can punch, and
It's just in his style not to need to do that.
like I say him by stoppage is obviously the least likely outcome, but that doesn't mean it's not possible.
It's not ruled out.
Because look, and especially if like Beterbiev doesn't move his head again and get hit with so many clean punches. I mean, obviously, Beterbiev's punches doing more, but Beterbiev did get hit. I mean, he did take some damage. He was hit with lots of clean punches against. Bivol's pretty sturdy. What the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Just good technique, stuff like that. Getting punched with someone with good technique. I mean, they hurt, and his body punching was good as well. It's whoever gets that game plan right, man. Whoever gets that game plan right, winning this fight.
I have more faith that Beterbiev is gonna wipe. With a healthier version of him, I think he'll just be better. And he's just more powerful, more aggressive, more just like I said, physically imposing. I think stoppage for him is probably the leading method of victory.
Yeah. Also, I did notice that Bivol stopped using his jab as well. There was a point where he stopped using his jab. I can't remember where it was. And I mean, look, you can't fight Beterbiev without a jab. I mean, what's going to deter him? Nothing.
His arms are probably hurting like hell.
You got to take these risks. You got to battle through that to win these type of fights. Got to take those necessary risks. And
what's your prediction?
I do think Beterbiev is going to stop him late, but I just wouldn't be surprised. Definitely wouldn't be surprised if Bivol wins the fight. I mean, you go.
I've got. It wouldn't surprise me. This is a little bit of a rogue shout, but if it's similar to the first fight, the sort of avalanche from Beterbiev starts a little bit earlier. And then you've sort of got Bivol getting dropped a couple of times late that seals a points victory for Beterbiev. That wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, that wouldn't shock me.
He's tough enough to get there.
He's tough enough and he's schooled enough to be able to survive.
Yeah, he's tough enough. And his chin is good enough. And he is I don't really watch interviews, but I know I've seen a couple of his, and his determination to win this fight is pretty high. I mean, he hasn't made any excuses, and he's like, no, I just want the win. Like, belts are just extra. Like, cause he could just be sitting there, like Eddie Hearn did, like, oh, I won this fight. Oh, this is bullshit. They robbed me. Like, no, he just went about his business. Didn't make excuses. Just like, yeah, I got beat. And I mean, he just wants to win this fight.
More fighters need to be like him.
There's what was I going to say? I've just totally lost my point. Go, someone else speak. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I like. I mean, I just like these fighters. I just go about their business.
Don't care about
do it in the ring.
Don't whine about it.
Right, I found it. The idea's back in my head. It's a big enough fight where you won't get say Bivol goes down and then Beterbiev's on him, and there's like a minute left in the round. The ref ain't gonna jump in and stop him standing in a fight like this. I don't think anyway. Unless it's really, really bad, I don't see and that's what I mean when I say oh yeah, they'll let Bivol might get dropped a couple of times, but see the final belt. If you look at
think if he gets like dropped like 3 times in a round, maybe they'll stop it, but I can't see them stopping it if he just gets dropped like once or twice, unless, like you say, he's like just really badly hurt, can't defend himself, and I just can't see Dmitry Bivol not being able to defend himself.
say like if it's like the Gvozdyk fight where there's an argument that he's up, Bivol. There's an argument that he's up. I had that fight 5-4 Beterbiev, but it was close. And as a ref, you don't really see that. I don't think they stop it if there's a after the third knockdown. If it's like that, like if that's this fight, I don't think they stop it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, because like you could see like Gvozdyk was in a bad like place. He was really hurt. He just kept going down and down and down, and it was just getting worse and worse and worse for him.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't think they would stop that fight if it was this fight.
Yeah, I don't think they will. And I don't think Bivol knows how to, like, he seems to know how to survive more than a Gvozdyk would, I should say, and survive being hurt. I mean, he did survive being hurt, I guess. Look, there was a lot of time left in that round 7, when he got hurt.
I heard it again in the 12th pretty bad, too.
Yeah. Like, he's just a clever fighter. Really good.
It's a really good fight.
And look, even if Bivol loses, I mean, he's still a great fighter. Beterbiev loses, still a great fighter.
Yeah. Yeah, they're both top level fighters. Like they're both like we said for last week for Beterbiev, not Beterbiev, Benavidez Morel. Like these are the 2 best light heavyweights in the world.
Yeah. And that's not going to change. I don't. Let's say Bivol schools Beterbiev. Don't think that changes him being the second best. Let's say Beterbiev stops Bivol in like 4 in like a one-sided fight. Don't think that changes. I think they still beat everyone else in the division, and they're still much better. It's just who they're against, opposite them.
I would say if Bivol takes a sustained sort of 10 or 11 or 12 round beating and gets dropped multiple times and stopped, and it's like a really, really bad beating, I'm not sure. Because, like, I don't know, we've seen fighters come back from after Beterbiev and they're just not the same a lot of the time. Like, I'm not saying that necessarily happens with Bivol, but if it's like a really, really bad beating, I'm not sure. But yeah, I generally agree with your point, but with that caveat.
I think maybe Bivol with his style can have success against guys like style's so good at just stopping people fighting their game, especially people that aren't Artur Beterbiev, like David Benavidez. I mean,
oh yeah, I agree.
Bivol's style would be just so bad for him. Like even if he does take a beating, he's young enough to, let's say, take like a year out of the ring to recover or something, then come back. Yeah. Of course, like you never really know after a possible beating like that from someone like Beterbiev.
I don't think it will be a beating like that, by the way.
I don't think it'll be a beating, though.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be close again. I thought it'd go like the Gvozdyk fight in the first fight. I mean, it didn't. But I'm assuming he has some sort of game plan, starts a bit faster, and actually works the body. So it's going to go like the Gvozdyk fight, I guess.
I sort of agree with you.
Yeah. Wouldn't really be surprised if he stops him to the body if he actually has a sustained body attack this time. But
one thing I would say, people can deny it all they want and say he was playing. Dmitry Bivol got hurt to the body by Lyndon Arthur.
Yeah, he did.
People can say he was playing about and all that. He did, but yeah, he did get hurt by Lyndon Arthur to the body.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's weird. We're all going for the same prediction as the first fight. I think we all predicted Beterbiev stoppage, and we're all doing that again.
Yeah, I just feel like I just think Beterbiev has more room for improvement.
Yeah.
Because even though I thought Beterbiev won, well, actually, I had it drawn. The rescore, I guess. I thought I was more impressed with Bivol's performance.
Yeah, it was a close fight first time. I think it'll be really, really competitive this time. Yeah, like I hope it catches fire though. Like the first fight was really, really technical, but that like to make it one of the best fights like ever, it needed to catch fire at one point. And I don't think it really did.
With like these two fighters, I'd much rather it be technical than a firefight. To be honest, I'd much rather watch them do what they did in the first fight than
I feel like it'd be
war and
uncharacteristic
slugfest.
for them two specifically
Yeah.
against each other to have a slugfest. It wouldn't.
I just don't think it would look right. It would just be weird. Even for all Beterbiev just knocking everyone out. He's still like a calculated, like technical fighter. He just doesn't box, so people don't think of him as a technical fighter.
Yeah,
Like, he's not like just some slugger who just goes in there and just does whatever. No, he's not. I just much rather like a high level, like just fight. It's much better to watch, like with these fighters.
yeah.
But
So
like if it catches fire and they get into like a action fight, I'm not gonna say no.
imagine that round 7, but for like an extended period of time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
like
less of an extended period of time for Bivol.
yeah, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Bivol definitely doesn't want to fight. Right?
But anyway, we're all predicting Beterbiev stoppage. So we'll probably all be wrong. 'Cause that's what usually happens when we all predict something. But yeah, chief support on this show. Daniel Dubois against Joseph Parker for the IBF title at heavyweight. I'm gonna let you two go on this because I've got quite a strong opinion that might shock you. But I'm gonna let you two go.
I already know your opinion. It's fine. But look, I was like, I had a prediction, kind of not too sure. I did see Dubois. He looked a bit heavy, to be honest. That's got me a bit wary.
Yeah. This predicting this fight is generally harder for me than the main event. I'm not gonna lie. I still don't really know. I might change my pick like right before the fight starts.
Like, because Parker, he's like, look, say what you want about Parker's a good heavyweight. Parker is a skilled heavyweight, and he can box. He knows how to box to win a fight. But then again, he's got like a very confident, hopefully not overconfident now. One of the other best heavyweights in the world with a great jab, and he hits very hard.
Man, it's just I don't really like my instinct is to just predict Dubois by knockout, but I don't. I'm not confident at all in picking that, and I'm literally might just. It could be all four methods, really. It could be
Like
all
the
four.
problem with Parker is like he has been on like a runner. I guess Wilder, who like he's washed, and Jiang, who we'll talk more about Jiang in a bit, but he is like an early rounds fighter. If you can survive those, you're in with a good shot winning. Because he doesn't do anything in the second half of the fight.
He won almost every round. He didn't get dropped in. So.
Yeah, because like recently, like Dubois has been getting stronger and stronger as the fight goes on, and it feels like his stamina is really good, And like he sets a high pace, and that jab is so good and so powerful. Like he has the best jab in the division, and like he makes his punches up really well, good timing, and obviously he's confident now. And just hopefully, you would hope he'd have a game plan for someone like Parker. You
Not
would
just
probably hope.
come forward.
You probably hope he's studied the Joe Joyce fight. To be honest.
You can't study anything.
Well, not him, but you know, his team. His team.
Man, I've got a really strong opinion on this. Firstly, like you said, the key to the fight is the jab. Dubois' jab. If it can keep Parker off balance and it can keep him from getting inside and working, Parker has virtually zero chance in this fight. And I think that's what's going to happen. I just don't think he can do it with a jab. He fought Wilder, who didn't throw a punch. Literally didn't throw a punch for 12 rounds. Like, Nathan Gorman could have beat Wilder that night. He just didn't throw a punch. All you've got to do is walk forward and throw some punches at him, and he loses to anyone that can do that. And like, he's totally done. Zhang didn't throw a punch in the second half, and even like in the early rounds, he's a precision guy. He's not really a high output guy. And I think Dubois has turned into a fighter that's very, very basic. It's all jab 1-2 and maybe a little hook if he's close. It's just a heavy jab with the right hand behind it, and it's all straight up and down. But he's very, very strong. He's a physical force, and I just think Parker can't deal with the volume, and he can't deal with the size, and he can't deal with the strength of Dubois all at the same time. And I think Dubois is going to cut for him, and I think he's going to smash him to pieces, to be honest. And I think it's going to be over before the 6th round. I think Dubois is going to cut for him. I really, really do, man.
Yeah, but Parker's he's tough. He has a good chin. I mean, he knows how to survive.
It is interesting that the last time a fighter put some volume on Parker, he got stopped.
He crumbled. He crumbled, yeah.
He did.
And like,
but, I mean, it was late in his defense, and he did
Yeah,
take.
but
a
his
beating.
chin is stupid. So if he had a regular chin, it wouldn't have lasted 11 rounds.
yeah, but you're also talking about Joe Joyce, who was slow and Parker could counter and have success against.
That was
And like,
prime.
and I'd also argue that Dubois hits a lot harder than Joe Joyce. I know Joyce stopped him, but like, I'd argue that Dubois is probably the hardest puncher that Parker's ever fought. He's ever been in the ring with.
No,
And
I disagree.
Joshua
Zhang.
maybe. Oh, Zhang, yeah, yeah, that's a fair point, Zhang. But like, then again, like,
Different fighters, of course.
different fighters, yeah. But Zhang, this is my thing with Zhang as well. Like, he doesn't throw enough.
Well,
We'll come on to him later, but
come on, go there.
but like, that was the thing. Like, should I say he's the hardest sort of he's the hardest puncher that will throw more than sort of 2 or 3 shots at once.
He's the hardest. He's the hardest puncher that will do something in the second round if it gets that far.
Yeah,
Which you don't think it will.
I don't know. He could get that round, but I see Parker going down a couple of times early and just getting stopped, just getting beaten up. Like, I don't know, man. I just don't see it with Parker. There's these big runs. He's been on a good run, all right. And Zhang, I picked him to beat Zhang because I thought he had the perfect style. But like, I don't know. It's just he's going to be kept off balance with that jab all night, and he won't be able to do anything. And then like he'll have to either run or stand and trade up with Dubois. And if he trades with Dubois, he's getting knocked out. And that's what I think he'll do because he did it with Joyce. And as soon as like there's a heavy punching volume, like a heavy punching volume puncher stood in front of him, he trades with them and he gets stopped. I think that's what happened to. early as well. Like it wouldn't surprise me if it goes similar to the Joshua fight. Like honestly, I'm really really strong on Dubois on this fight.
I'm gonna go with Dubois too, but I think Parker. I think the heavy punches and like most of the damage that's gonna happen in this fight will be towards the middle and like the start of the second half, not like immediately.
Maybe.
So I got Dubois like 7-9 knockout.
I think he might have some trouble with landing some power punches early. Like obviously he's not gonna have trouble landing a jab. No one can defend the jab. Of course.
But that's the thing, you know. That jab is as good as like a lot of heavyweights, like fully loaded like right hand.
Look, a good jab is better than a good power punch, but a good power punch is more dangerous, I guess.
His jab is
can
a
knock you
power
out.
punch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He can knock people out with jabs.
Look, I mean, I've seen people, specifically one person, say his jab is harder than his right hand. So, you know, and looking at it, yeah, sure. I mean, I wouldn't want to get, well, I would die because I'm like half his size, if that.
I'd probably get dropped, but I don't think I'd die. I'd be able to.
You would die. You might be a giant, but you would die. Like there is a difference between just these. That's a different. I'm not going to get into that conversation.
I'd get iced, but I think I'd wake up. I'd hope I'd wake up.
Yeah, in the
3 years
hospital.
later.
Yeah.
Or a couple months later, out of your coma.
Yeah.
But
Man, he punches so hard.
he punches too hard, and that's why I'm picking him by knockout.
Yeah, like it's just Zhang man. We'll get onto him later.
I mean, look, Parker has a good jab as well, and I mean, look, we see how. I mean, Dubois not good with jabs either.
I think Parkinson needs to get closer to it, and like Dubois is so basic, like, but it's such a good basic style. He won't over confuse it. It will be literally Charles will say to him, he comes near you, throw a jab. He walks forward, you throw a jab. Doesn't matter where it lands, you throw a jab. And you throw a jab. And if you land with a jab, you throw a right hand behind it.
Yeah, like, the thing with Don Charles is he's always going to have a good game plan for his fighter. Whether his fighter can do it, which a lot of the time, no, because, you know, he's fighter for a long time with Derek Chisora, who's useless. But he's always going to have a good game plan, or at least fall up with a game plan. And, you know, going jab for jab with Dubois is not the smartest, but I mean, I think you have to. Somehow you have to take your jab away. And that's not going to be with defense because no one can defend the jab. So you just have to counter, I guess, which I guess is kind of defense, but
yeah, but like countering,
and that's dangerous.
Countering with Dubois is dangerous. Like, and
But,
that's sort of what he did with the Joyce fight as well. He couldn't get out of the way with the jab, so he started like laying into Joyce, and then Joyce is just there, like, oh yeah, I'll take your shots, like, and I'll keep throwing the jab, and I'll keep like throwing these right hands that I don't turn over and that are coming at you slower than a like snail, and you eat them because you're trading up with me, and I'm bigger, stronger, heavier hands, and I'll just stop you. And that's essentially what that fight was. Like every Joyce fight.
Yeah,
Well, every prime Joyce fight.
That was a while ago, and you know, like Parker's been on a good run since then, but like the first Chisora fight is very concerning. Like,
yeah, he can get knocked over early.
Like going life and death, and arguably losing to Derek Chisora.
I thought he did lose, by the way.
I
thought he lost
won,
that fight.
but I mean, I'm not arguing with anyone. More people thought he lost than won, I will say. But going life and death and arguably losing to Chisora, even if you batter him in the rematch, terrible look.
He didn't even batter him in the rematch. You know the thing with that rematch, he kept dropping him, but he wasn't like he lost a few rounds in that fight.
Well,
Round wise, that was like an 8-4 fight. He just dropped him about 17 times and couldn't put him away.
Yeah, well, that's because has the killer instincts of a dead goldfish.
Yeah, like, yeah, it's just he's really annoying, Parker. He's really because he can be good. I just think he lacks it mentally to like.
Well,
How didn't he stop Wilder? How didn't he stop Wilder?
Well, I mean, yeah, wary of the power, I guess. I mean, I know he didn't really throw, but I mean, he threw a couple of times, but they all missed. That was about it.
Yeah,
It's just like it's no point taking risks when you can just win easily another way, I guess. Which maybe not the best. Like, some people won't like it, but I guess win. A win is a win. And, 10-year time, no one's gonna be like, oh yeah, but he didn't stop Wilder. It doesn't matter. He won every round.
I guess. But yeah, I've got Dubois, big man. Dubois
I mean,
knockout early.
I do have Dubois because of the jab. Because no one can defend jabs. Yeah, late stoppage.
It'll keep him off balance, and like, if you keep Parker off balance, that's going to just totally just he like with Hrgovic. Hrgovic wasn't balanced when he was throwing his shots in that. When everyone was allegedly saying that Dubois battered him, like, firstly, that was a bit overstated. I watched that back; it was competitive those first few rounds. Secondly, Hrgovic was totally off balance throwing those shots because he was wary of the jab and like he couldn't set his feet. And like, yeah, that's going to happen here. If Parker has success, he'll be off balance. He won't be throwing with full power, and Dubois will walk through it, I think. But yeah, Dubois KO. I don't really give Parker much of a shout of winning this fight, if I'm being honest. I really don't think. Yeah, he's been on a good run, sure, but yeah, I don't really give him a shot.
Well, I mean, I give him a shot because, like, all these heavyweights outside of like Usyk and I guess Fury, I mean, I think they're all like comparatively round about the same level ish, and they can all just beat each other on any given day, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like any
I
like
don't know.
standout guys behind it, Usyk and Fury, like, just beat each other. I wouldn't be surprised if Parker won this fight. And I won't be surprised if Dubois wins the fight. I mean, yeah, that's why it's a good fight. Well, a lot of people think it's 50-50. Of course you don't.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's good. It's a good fight. 2 top 5 heavyweights currently.
I on paper, yeah, but just style wise, I think Dubois, like, Parker is perfect for Dubois. But yeah, on to the next fight, Shakur Stevenson against Josh Padley. All we're really going to say is Josh Padley's an area level fighter, English level fighter, hasn't even got a promoter in the UK. He should be nowhere near a world title, but it's Floyd Schofield's fault. And Shakur moving to Matchroom has been a terrible idea. He's had a cancellation against a super featherweight coming off the KO loss that nobody wanted to see. Scheduled a fight with a prospect that nobody wanted to see, and now he's fighting somebody off the English small hall circuit that nobody wants to see. It's a terrible fight. Shakur will win easily, and if he doesn't stop him, like, there's serious questions there.
Look, Like, never been really confident on Shakur stoppage. I'm pretty confident on this one. He's going to stop Josh
I'm
Padley.
still not.
Josh Padley's going to take an absolute battering. He's not that good. I mean, he's not very good at all, is he, really? He beat Mark Chamberlain, and who's the other guy he beat? His only other good win, I can't remember his name. Undefeated guy, I can't remember.
Well,
Can't remember.
This
That's his only other
should
noble
not.
win.
I hate when it's these type of fights, like how with Inoue and Kim. Like, yes, it's late notice. You need to just pick somebody. They're talking about his ranking and how one of his rankings is higher than Schofield. This is not. This shouldn't be for a world title if this is the opponent that he's fighting. I don't care if it's late notice. This should be a 10-round fight. There's this is. Bro. I give like the slight pass because it's 4 days out, but come on.
You know, I don't. When Maxie Hughes said he'd take it, Maxie Hughes was there. There's much better fighters than Josh Padley. Basically, what's happened here? Turkey's got a fetish for Mark Chamberlain randomly out of nowhere, and then because Mark Chamberlain isn't very good, a random area level guy smashed into pieces, and now we're getting Josh Padley fighting for a world title. So if it wasn't for Turkey being a weirdo and picking out York Hall bums off Warren shows randomly on Friday nights, yeah, this fight wouldn't be a reality. that's what it is. Like
So
this fight is just not good.
I honestly don't want to spend too much time even talking about this. This shouldn't be a world title.
Yeah. Next.
But
Right,
if
well-
if Shakur does not stop him, I Jesus Christ,
It was
I don't know what to say about him.
it was Jimmy
First,
first.
Jimmy first.
I
Jimmy
remember
first.
that was his only other noble win for us.
MTK Days, mate. Jimmy first.
Yes, I remember he didn't even beat Mark Chamberlain at lightweight either.
It was at 140. Yeah.
Yeah,
but a world title shot off of a
and
lightweight fight.
and Josh Padley can't punch to save his life.
It's just
Look, all I'll say is, that boxing a lot of the time is about what your team can get you, not necessarily what you deserve. And fair play to Josh Padley, like he's taken that Chamberlain fight for really good money, made 6 figures in that, beat Chamberlain, and now he's probably getting another mid-6-figure payday for fighting Shakur. So well done.
Yeah.
Like well done to his team, well done to him. He's made really, really good money over the last year. But yeah, you're not like it doesn't make it right, but fair play to him. It's not his fault. He's just there taking the opportunity. So yeah, it is what it is.
Before we move on to the next fight, I will declare that if Shakur Stevenson doesn't stop Josh Padley, I'm not watching another Shakur Stevenson fight.
I generally
Ever
will
again.
never like watch him. I
And
he's so insufferable already. If he doesn't stop a fighter, he shouldn't even be in the ring with. I can't do it anymore.
and the next time we have to speak about his fight, won't say anything.
I can't.
He's with
Unless he's
Matchroom.
fighting
So like,
Gervonta Davis, I don't really care anymore.
you should enjoy like him against Anthony Kikachi or someone because he's with Matchroom. That's the type of thing Matchroom
Look,
do.
he's going to fight the winner of Kakashi versus Wood.
Yeah.
His career has been managed so horrible.
That's another discussion, but I'm sick of talking about it.
Anyway, next.
Hamza Shearaz, Carlos Adames, WBC middleweight title. Adames steps up to the best opponent he's ever fought. Shearaz steps up to the best opponent he's ever fought, in my opinion.
This should
Don't know if that's outlandish to say, but
it's not.
like,
I don't trust how Adames fights like at all. It's like he fights at the level of his opponent. even when it's not an opponent he should be fighting. Like he should have. I don't know why him versus Gaucher was a fight. Like, and he looked horrible in that fight.
Maybe he looked horrible because he is horrible.
I enjoyed him better when he was a super welterweight, but those years are long gone. He's an upgraded champion.
Look,
I think Shiraz will stop him, but I think he's tough. I think he's tough enough that it's pretty possible that he makes it. Then.
like, I don't think it's going to be one-sided.
Yeah, I don't think it is either.
Because, I mean, like, this is a step up for Hamza Shiraz. And it's we assume it's the toughest fight, like, best opponent that Colin Zidane is going to fight, but Shiraz needs to prove that still. Because this is the guy who's been in with Derevinchenko, who is a very good fighter. He did go life and death with him, though.
I thought he lost that fight.
I'm close. Yeah, I feel like
I
Dervinchenko.
think he just won.
I think I might have scored at a draw,
It's close. It's close.
but
I think he won, but it was life and death.
yeah, it was. I think Shiraz will the fight will be close the entire time it's fought up until Adames gets like hit with something like out of nowhere.
Look, once again, jab. People can't defend jabs. It's gonna win Shiraz the fight.
And Shiraz is left-handed, by the way. Like naturally, like his left hand, his jab hand is his strong hand. Like his variation on that's really good.
Like who knows? He might not like chin him. He might just stop him on damage.
Yeah, like I said that to someone this week. Like, if you look at the damage Ammo Williams had on his face, like his eyes were gone. Like he had so much swelling. He had like a little bit cut. His nose was going a little bit. Like he had so much damage. Like on his face, like just from coming forward and eating jabs all night. Like
I was the 80 like 85% of the punches that landed cleanly from Shiraz were just jabs, but his jab is like a power punch. So
yeah. And the way he sort of arcs it down and whips it through, it's a really, really nice shot, man. I think the key to this fight is for Shiraz to fight his fight, he doesn't have to extend much energy. And for Adames to win this fight, he hasn't got the best stamina anyway, Adames. And he has to be explosive, be sort of really... He has to expend a lot more energy to be competitive in this fight than Shiraz does. All Shiraz has to do is sit on the outside and jab. And that's going to cause problems. And like, Adames has to get around that, he has to be explosive, he has to get through. And like, that's not good when you don't have the best stamina to begin with. And I think that's going to, like the Ammo Williams fight, there were a couple of shaky moments early for Shiraz. And like, eventually, he's going to start eating jabs. And then sort of around 5 or 6, Shiraz will take over, continually like pump the jab out. And then Adames sells out and gets stopped.
yeah, his stamina's not that good.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have the Ammo fight all of that way. So he was definitely hurt in that fight.
I think it was like round 2.
Yeah, round 2.
That's the thing with Shiraz. He's got like tall man syndrome. Like every fighter like him, I'm not gonna say a certain someone, but Fundora, people like him that are tall and sort of stringy. There's always a possibility that someone just lands something on them when they go. That's always possible.
One, you're a jackass.
I didn't mention him.
One, you're a jackass, and 2, you're right. So like, he could get hurt. He's not a middleweight. He's way too big.
Like he could get hurt because, I mean, Carlos Adames can punch.
And I'm saying Shiraz this should be his last middleweight fight.
Yeah, because
It
I
won't be.
mean,
It
I
needs
don't
to be.
really know if he struggles that much making weight.
He doesn't. I know for a
don't think he
fact
does.
that like
Didn't he say he could make 154?
I hope he
Am I
does not.
making
he
that up?
used to. He used to. He can't make 154 anymore. But he can make it. But it will look like Bradley's skate fight. So it would be awful. But Ammo Williams was heavier in the ring than Shiraz. Like Shiraz doesn't put that much on. Like I agree, he needs to move up, but it's not he needs to move up because like he's drained at the weight. It's he needs to move up because he needs to put on weight, sort of thing.
He needs to move up because middleweight is terrible. But then again, super middleweight's not great. But
I
it's
think,
better than middleweight, I think.
yeah, definitely. Guys like Iglesias and Munguia and Sriracha and people like that. Yeah, they're better than people like Denzel Bentley. I, I think Shiraz is going to be one of these guys who's really, really, really good at his sort of first weight he gets to world level at. But then once you start moving up, then he's going to start looking pretty average. Because just standing back and jabbing against guys that are, say, 6'1", 6'2", as opposed to 5'10", 5'11", that's not going to work as well. Like, he can be competitive at super middle, but at middle, I see a guy that's potentially the best middleweight in the world by quite some distance. And at super middleweight, I don't see that. I just see him as a standard guy at world level.
I mean, I know he's like solid, and I mean, he just kind of feels like a guy that will get you in eventually. To be honest.
Yeah, definitely. He does square up a lot as well. Like, when he's flowing and he's throwing loads of shots and he's, like, in combination, he squares up. That's what got him dropped against Torres. Like, he just dropped Torres, he rushed in, he started throwing loads, and he squared up and got put on his bum.
Look, like, I think he's going to win. I think he's going to stop him late. I wouldn't be surprised if he just wins the decision, just sticks behind the jab for 12 rounds. Yeah. But, I mean, if he got stopped in this fight, wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I know, like, Colosonomas isn't great, but he can punch.
Yeah. I
mean, he's good enough. Like, he's not some pound for pound fighter, but, you know, he's good.
Look, man, any half decent middleweight era, this guy would not be anywhere near a title. But then again, Darren Barker got one, and he's better than Darren Barker, so God knows. Only Darren Barker, man. They're stealing a living, and then pathetic. Going into that last fight, knowing that you couldn't run, pathetic. Anyway, let's move on from him. But yeah, I think Shiraz sort of mid to late round stoppage.
That's a Shiraz late, like 9 or 10.
Yeah, around then.
Yeah, I'm gonna go late. Just debating decision. I don't know how much risk he's gonna want to take. If he doesn't need to, if he's just sticking behind the jab, easily winning the fight. I mean, he does feel like a guy who would go for the stoppage, even if he's just dominating with the jab. Yeah, late. All right. Maybe a 12 round, a great 12 round stoppage. That'd be fun.
That would be. Really, really good fight. Virgil Ortiz, Israel Madrimov. This is a fight that I can't pick.
List.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think it's gonna be list.
Have some faith.
I don't have any faith. Well, it's not about faith. It's just style, isn't it?
No, I don't think it. I don't think it is either. I'm not gonna lie. I think Madrimov's gonna like soundly outbox him. Ortiz also looks super drained.
That's that was because he had to make the check weight. He's fine now. He looks okay.
Yeah,
today.
I mean, it's hard with Ortiz because the only fight you can go off is the Boachuk fight because the rest of his fights just a waste of time at
Like,
154.
yeah, he hasn't
And
fought. It's like it's as if he hasn't fought in like 3 years up until that Belichick fight.
yeah, and Boachuk fights absolutely nothing like Islam Majmov.
And it still doesn't do well for him because he got dropped twice, and some people think he lost. So
Well, I mean, in his defense, I mean, he wasn't really hurt. I was just kind of like flash noise. I mean, he hurt Boachuk more than he was hurt himself, but you know, he did get dropped twice. That's the thing with Majimov. I mean, I know just his little feiny.
you love that drop feint, don't you?
Like, I mean, it's good, it's effective, and it works.
You got to throw punches with it, or
And
after it, before it.
it worked. I mean, it worked like to stop Crawford doing like what Crawford usually does, but he didn't really do much outside of that. Not that he didn't do anything in the fight. I mean, he was competitive in the fight, but I mean, he mostly just landed single right hands.
That's the thing with Majmov. I think he's a lot of top. He's not even. He wasn't even that good an amateur, but a lot of sort of people that have had a lot of amateur schooling have a. They have sort of a perfection complex, especially from Uzbekistan. That they sort of breed a perfection complex where Majmov won't. He doesn't like missing. I know that's like you can say that about everyone, but he won't throw if he doesn't think he's going to land it. If that makes any sense.
And that's why he's had criticism for not going up the gears.
Yeah.
And I know, like, he did batter Kurbanov, but I mean, he still
Kurbanov's
didn't like.
terrible.
Well, Kurbanov is terrible. I mean, he still didn't like do like loads and throw loads of punches. He was just effective against a not great file. And even then,
Yeah.
before the switch, I mean, Kurbanov was kind of coming into it a bit, but then got hurt and stopped. I just feel like Ortiz, he's not going to be like a Crawford where he's not going to do anything when someone is just dropping every 2 seconds. And look, like Ortiz kind of does it himself. I mean, they have similar-ish, not styles, of course, but they do with the angles and the change of levels. But I mean, Ortiz punches are so compact, powerful.
I feel like he telegraphs so many like more punches.
Like he does, but that's because he throws everything 100%, like 100% power. He never switches up the power. That's one of my big problem with him is everything puts 100% into every punch.
I think that is the problem for him in this fight. That he's again like I said with Bill, he's gonna do too much, trying to like punch holes through Madrimov, and he's gonna get tired.
But he doesn't get tired.
He's
I
gonna.
think he will get tired, but
I don't think he will.
he's going to be missing more than he ever has missed. Though. And that'll make you tired.
I mean, will he? I mean, it's not
I
like
think
match him with some crazy defensive fighter.
one thing about Ortiz in this fight, I think he was doing this stupid thing with Boachuk where he was dropping his hands, and he needs to just keep a basic guard, keep a high guard, keep your gloves up, and like he won't get dropped like that. He was like dropping his hands so many times in that Boachuk fight. That's just not been him. He's been a sort of high guard pressure fighter, and that's what he is, and like that's what he should stay being. But I think that's his best route to victory. But if Madrimov throws more, I think he wins. Like if he throws more than say the Crawford fight or anything, I think he wins because Ortiz is he's sort of in a magnet for straight right hands, and that's one of Majimov's best shots. He landed it on Crawford a lot. Ortiz got hurt or buzzed by Mean Machine by it, got dropped by it, and I think that's the key to it. And I can see sort of the way how reckless Ortiz is. Like, he does square up and come off balance a little bit, and like both Boachuk knockdowns, they were because of that. Really, he wasn't balanced. Like, sure, they were powerful punches, Boachuk, but like, if you can time him when he's coming in off balance and sneak a right hand in, there's a good chance that it'll go down. And I think that's the key for Majimov. I think Majimov, I don't know. I think Majimov's going to win a decision, but it's going to be very, very close. And I think maybe a knockdown or two for Majimov will steal it. Sort of like the Boachuk fight. But different, but sort of similar sort of scoring, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be that good. I mean, it's not going to be that high paced. I mean, he needs to throw more. He needs to do more. Because we know Ortiz is going to throw. He's going to do more. He's not going to stop trying.
I think he'll force Majimov to throw more.
Because, I mean, who's coming forward? Who's not? Because they both like to come forward. I mean, look, Ortiz did box a bit in the Boachuk fight. Maybe he's going to do that. I don't know. Wouldn't recommend it. I'd recommend backing up Majimov because he gets his rhythm going on the front foot. I mean, he's not like a Crawford who's going to win a fight on the back foot, is he?
I don't know. I feel like the fight's more likely to go the distance than not.
Yep.
And it just who does better in their style, like obviously, but force Majimov to do more than he usually does might or might not help Majimov's style. So I would say Majimov decision, but
I tend to agree.
Ortiz might make him do too much, and Majimov might get tired and then get.
Look, yeah, I don't think Majimov has like the best stamina.
He doesn't.
Yeah, that's why he lost the Crawford fight, man. He didn't do anything in the last 3 rounds.
Lower pace suits Majimov, and I feel like Ortiz is more likely to sell out for the win if it comes to that.
Yeah, I think this is a pace fight. I agree with you. It's a slower pace. Majimov has success when they're boxing at a really slow pace and you can pick your shots. But if it becomes hectic and like there's punches going every like 2 seconds and like, yeah, that's Ortiz's fight. That's what Ortiz needs to do. I agree with you.
He needs to get him an inside fight, like immediately.
Yep. That's one thing about Uzbeks. They can't fight inside. These guys that have been trained by the Uzbek system cannot fight inside at all. Because they're just tuned up to like be tippy tappy and win amateur tournaments.
Yeah. The long range, bloody come forward angle guy, like they all are pretty much.
Yeah.
And look, this might be as simple as whoever's fighting on the front foot wins this fight. To be honest, pretty much. I don't really think either can win on the back foot. Probably Majimov has more chance to win on the back foot because, seems like something he'd be able to do more than Ortiz. But Ortiz jab is really good and really powerful. I mean, just getting your head snapped back by Ortiz jab, and then the next thing you know, he's just on front of you, on your chest, just throwing his punches. I know they're all at the same power, but that hurts, and they do damage. The only problem is you get used to that power.
full 100% power all the time.
Yeah.
So what are you going with?
I think I'm going to go with Ortiz by decision.
I think Madrimov
I also think Madrimov decision. Yeah, I don't. Just like Parker, Duval Parker, I might change it right before. I don't know. It's that close to me, really.
For me, this is the only fight on the card that I can't pick a winner. But yeah, Madrimov decision. I always do gun to my head, but like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to put an argument together. I don't really know. Let's go either way. I wouldn't be surprised by any outcome.
It'd be crazy if like someone just goes out and gets chinned early. That would be surprising. Like if someone just blows someone away in the first sort of 5 or 6, that would be like, what the hell's going on? But anything other than that wouldn't really shock me that much. Like,
Yeah.
exceptional for 5 rounds, punching bag for 7 rounds. He is one of the most frustrating heavyweights I've ever seen. And for the first 5 rounds, he is one of the best heavyweights I've ever seen. He is so weird.
Like, he's good for 5 rounds.
Yeah,
I mean, he's really good for 5 rounds.
It's really if Caballero
Well,
makes it out the first quarter of the fight.
He's good for 6 rounds. I mean, he hasn't. I'd give him 6 rounds. He's had a couple knockouts in the 6th round.
It's just his stamina is so garbage.
Like, because he throws. Well, I mean, he doesn't throw a lot, but he's very accurate, very economical. His hands are so quick, and he lands. I mean, he hurts people early. It's just a question of, can they survive?
Okay, so we were generally guessing if Caballero can survive the first quarter of the fight. Basically, that's what the prediction lies on.
Yeah, so can you survive 6 rounds? And then, if you can you win? Can you? He needs to win some of the early rounds. Obviously, if he loses the first 6 rounds, it can only be a draw unless he gets a knockdown. But then again, with like Caballero's body punching, which probably one of the best, maybe the best in the division. I mean, that's gonna slow Zhang down even quicker. So maybe he does only have 4 rounds. But is he gonna be like on his bike and just not throwing anything?
But you can't do that though, because then Zhang's not going to throw anything, and then Zhang might have energy in the 7th.
No, if he doesn't throw anything, Zhang will throw. I mean, I guess like Wilder and him, they didn't throw anything, but like Wilder's dangerous, so I guess he's just being patient, picking his spots. I mean, Caballero is like dangerous as well, but he's not Wilder. He'll throw early. Like, it was like the first couple rounds, Caballero just doesn't do anything, and then he gets some body shots in whilst trying to be smart defensively and not getting hit. But he's going to get hit. It's just a question of, can he take the power and survive?
I don't think he can.
I was having a look at Caballero's box rec earlier to check something, and Smakichi is a southpaw.
Yeah, and he's tall.
That was a bad look.
And Smakichi, other than one guy earlier in his career, is the only southpaw he's ever fought.
And how did that one look?
Look, even if that was his own fault, it was nearly done.
That's the thing in my head as well. And like, if you look at Caballero beating up Sanchez and Makhmudov, he comes forward, but doesn't really move his head that much.
Well, see, the Makhmudov performance is the better performance to have against Zhang because he actually boxed in that fight.
Yeah,
Obviously, he had to be on the front foot against Sanchez, who, well, he had one leg, but obviously he boxes. Like he needs the box. Can't come on the front foot. You're gonna get countered and walked into something. And if you're walking into a Zhang punch, you're not getting up.
can I just that secondary Joyce fight? How the hell did Joyce get up from that?
He's a psychopath.
Yeah,
Joyce is
like,
crazy.
it's just
Yeah,
like,
Joyce
it's
is
mad.
crazy.
Yeah,
Like that's like signs of still a great chin. Just
yeah,
it's been cracked.
Just diminished.
yeah.
Yeah, because look, Caballero has the style. Like he can box really well. But I mean, he's pretty undersized, and he does get hit. And I don't think he has like a Hergovich or a Parker chin, who have two of the best chins in the division.
I think he's going to be outweighed by about 70 pounds.
He will be. Look, like the punches that what's his face? I just said his name. Hergovich took in that fight. Like most fights get stopped. Like that was an actual Zhang who was letting his hands go in combinations. A lot of punches. I mean, I've never seen him throw punches like that before. Fights get stopped. I mean, maybe even a Parker gets stopped by that many punches.
Yeah.
Just can we do the game plan?
I don't know if he can. My prediction is that he won't be able to start the game plan, really.
Because if he can, and if he does, I wouldn't be surprised if he stopped an exhausted Zhang late.
Even if he makes it to the second half, there's a good shot. Like Parker got dropped once in the third, once in the eighth, didn't he? Was it?
Yeah, was it the
Something
eighth?
like that.
Or was it the ninth?
I think it was the eighth. But like, say Caballero gets hurt really badly, that's going to take energy out of you. Like even if he gets up and he gets hit with a lot of heavy shots, and you know he's going to sustain some level of damage, regardless. And like, can he maneuver Zhang around like that if he's really hurt and if he's say got swelling over his eye or whatever the case may be? Can he do that? I don't know. This is the thing with Zhang. Like, it's like people need to get out the first six, and they need to have some sort of ability to be able to stick it on him, or box him, or really put your combinations together. And like, I don't know if Caballero can. And let's be honest with Caballero, he ain't got the greatest gas tank in the world. Like the Chisora fight, didn't Chisora come on late? And that, if I remember correctly, Chisora definitely like poured it on a bit late.
I mean,
If
I
I'm
think he
remembering that fight correctly.
had his moments, but it was a pretty clear.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
well,
like
he spent
like Caballero
a
won it
lot of
clear.
time. He spent a lot of time on the ropes in that fight, anyway.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just yeah, like you said, I think Caballero's gonna get caught coming in early, and he's gonna get stopped.
I'd say Zhang inside 4.
Yeah, Gilles Zhang inside 4. I agree.
I'd say 5.
Yeah, so all around the same ball. All around the same ballpark.
Yeah, not that Caballero's not good. I mean, look, Caballero getting stopped in 5 by Zhang. He's still. I'd still have him in the top 10 heavyweights, even if he gets stopped in 5 by Zhang.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at all the top 10 heavyweights. Like, a lot would get stopped inside 5 by Zhang.
Yeah.
Like, Joshua would, Wardley would.
Who else is top 10?
That's something.
Yeah.
Martin Bakodi against Should I Zhang.
Well, that's 2 hot punches. One with a terrible gas tank. One who seems to have a better gas tank than he did against Michael Hunter now.
Begging to quit all the way through that fight. Embarrassing. Yeah. But yeah, I want that fight next, regardless. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, there's fights that can happen. And what annoys me is when someone loses and they just think fights are off, they can never happen. No, they can't. If Zhang loses to Caballero, he can still fight Bakoli. If Caballero loses, he can still fight other top 10 guys.
Well, less than a year ago, Zhang was 2-2 in his last 4.
Yeah.
Lost to Parker and Hergovich and beat Joyce twice. Like, there's good matchups. I mean, Dubois lost like 18 months ago.
And that was a champion.
Yeah. Like, there's fights everywhere for him.
This is a good fight.
This is a very, very good fight.
Like, we might all be on the same page, but that doesn't mean like we don't think Caballero can't win.
I think he definitely can. Like, because Zhang's like, I don't even know how you describe it. Because he's not a glass cannon. He's a cannon that only has like 3 rounds of ammunition or something. Like, I don't know how you describe it. Like, he's such an anomaly, man. He's such an anomaly. But anyway,
Yeah.
the first fight on this card, apart from prospects and all those Saudi kids that aren't very good, that lose to journeyman and get gifts. Joshua Buatsi against Callum Smith for the interim WBO light heavyweight title, even though the WBO title was being contested about 4 hours later. But you know, boxing. You two can go because I've been waiting all shows to have my say on this fight, so I'll wait a little bit longer.
I think Buatsi will soundly outpoint Callum Smith with relative ease.
Is it going to be another shell job from Callum Smith where he feels some punches and then shells up on the ropes?
Yeah. I don't think Buatsi has the insane power to like run him over, but he does have the power to hurt him.
I think he hits hard enough. Like, he can punch, but his punches are just slow.
Like, Buatsi's pretty he's kind of disappointing, truly. But I think
he reminds me of Howard Eastman. Just the way he fights, he reminds me so much of Howard Eastman.
Well, maybe he needs to die as well. I was going to say die as being up, and he shaves it all off to fight the proper way, what everyone should do.
Yeah.
Look, talkers, just get your rant over.
All right. Callum Smith. There's genuinely an argument that he's never beaten somebody above European level. And I don't think he has. I think he's one of the most overrated fighters. And he's life and death, struggling with Eric Scotland, life and death with Mickey Holtzking, beats a one-armed George Groves, he rushes back from injury, beats a shot to pieces Hassan and Dam, who's gone back to the amateurs. loses to John Ryder and shells up, puts in a pathetic performance against Canelo where he doesn't throw a punch, ices Rivera, who's now being served up to prospects, ices Borderleague in a life and death that got overshadowed because he knocked him out, and now Borderleague's getting flogged by novice amateurs, shells up instantly against Beterbiev, and then struggles against a journeyman where he shells up against the ropes a half that fight as well. What's he done? He got gifted a Ring Magazine title because the Ring Magazine pathetic and bowed down to the money when Zerdo was there, clearly the number one in the division. Like what's going on here? He's never even beaten someone above European level. Never.
Well, I mean, he has, but they're not like. I mean, obviously, Groves is above European level, but he was.
At that point, was
past
he?
his prime.
One arm drawn Groves?
Well, yeah,
Completely
he was
shot to
champion.
pieces. He was shot to pieces. He was completely shot to pieces.
You better respect future WBA regular champion Rocky Fielding.
They got pummeled by Dan Aziz, like. And you know who he beat to win that title?
Yeah, I watched the fight. Probably one of the only 5 people watching the fight on Sky Sports.
Yeah, you know who he beat to win that title? Somebody that's just been pummeled by Zach Parker.
That's fine. What can you do?
Like it's just like there's no like what's going on here? Everyone screams about the left hook. What's he been doing with it? What I just don't get it. I don't get the hype. He stands there, shells up and fights on the inside when he's like 7 foot taller than every single person he fights. He can't throw a jab. He doesn't use a jab. He's just not good. And there's always a reason. Oh, he's strained. Oh, he's this. Oh, the ring's too small and it's cold outside in Montreal and that's why he lost. And all this rubbish. Just like he's just not very good. He's just not very good. And Buatsi's going to beat him easily. And Buatsi's not that brilliant either. Like, I don't particularly rate Buatsi highly, but like, he's a far better fighter than Callum Smith ever has been. And he's a far better light heavyweight. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's much better technically. Like, I just think, yeah, Callum Smith is fighting a good fighter, so Callum Smith is going to shut up on the ropes. And that's what he does every single time he fights a good fighter.
Man, I wonder what your prediction is.
Buatsi will go to points because Buatsi has zero killer instinct at all. But Buatsi's going to win every round because that's what Callum Smith does. He's fighting a good fighter. He'll shut up every single time, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of like, oh, he's done it 3 times now. If the 3 best fighters he's fought at that point in their careers, like George Groves was totally shot. Like I don't like that's hardly even a win in my eyes. Like he had one arm, his shoulder was out of his socket. Like he was done. Like the 3 best fighters he's fought, Ryder, Canelo, and Beterbiev, he just goes up against them. Does nothing. What are we doing here? At least throw punches. Like, come on. At least try. But no, like he'll shell up on the ropes and like as soon as Buatsi throws a couple of jabs, Buatsi's just going to out-jab him totally because Smith can't defend a jab. He's been out-jabbed multiple times by people that he's like towers over, and like he's just going to shut up and take his paycheck and hopefully retire. And I never have to watch him box ever again because he's pathetic.
I think he might do okay early because. I mean, obviously, Canelo isn't the most fleet-footed guy, but Buatsi's feet are so slow. It feels like he's stuck in the mud at times. But, when Buatsi really gets going, then he'll probably do what he said and shut up. But, I mean...
Buatsi's not out-trapping, man.
Like, if Buatsi does his, he has his mid-off, I mean, it could be a good fight. If Callum Smith actually tries.
He's fighting a good fighter, boy.
Well, yeah, but not on the level of a Canelo or Beterbiev.
Is he on the level of a John Ryder?
Probably, yeah.
Exactly. See what I mean? Like every single. Yeah, Buatsi points. and
Yeah.
hope please Callum Smith retire after this. That fight, I don't care if it like you want to say it was ring rust or whatever, or he's just getting back in the tune up like that. That fight against that journeyman, the other week was absolutely pathetic. That journeyman is a light middleweight journeyman, and he went life and death with him.
Yeah, he did. That was not good. That was a bad
I
one.
think he's got all the signs of a completely shot fighter. Well, not even a shot fighter, because you have to be good to be shot, don't you?
Mm.
Jesus.
Well, not necessarily.
Yeah, but anyway, the positives for this weekend is brilliant boxing. Hopefully, Callum Smith's gonna retire, so I can be happy. But yeah, it's a great weekend of boxing this Saturday, and there's a couple of other fights that we'll have another show out for. Luis Neri's fighting, and then there's the Monday Japanese show with Juno Nakatani. We'll have a show out previewing that at some point as well. But yeah, it's a great weekend of boxing, and yeah, thanks for listening.
See you in episode 35.